Hello, how is everyone doing? My name is Beverly Bashwinger, and I thought I would tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. I have been married to my husband, Andy, for 32 years. I have three adult children and one grandchild so far. Okay, up to now, I've been homeschooling my three children. I have also been helping my husband in ministry, as well as running two small businesses, not at the same time. Um, One, I was a self-employed nanny, and I also did cleaning. I had a cleaning company where I did commercial, residential, and new construction cleaning. So that's what I've done up to now. After my children were ending their educational careers, I knew I needed to do something different. I wanted to do something different. So I began to look into a new career path. And this presentation focuses on how do program outcomes in your college education, technical school, whatever it is that you're taking, how do those program outcomes meet or fulfill the job skills that you need for your future career? So we're going to focus on what these program outcomes are over here, and over here we have our job skills, and we're going to marry them together. And we're going to discuss how we can do that because it's important that we know how they relate to one another so that when we're meeting with hiring managers, we can express to them why we are prepared for that career, for that job posting, whether it's on an interview, whether it's at a job fair, or you just happen to meet someone that works in your career field, that's a hiring manager. Things like that happen. So it's good to be prepared. So I'll see you in the next slide. I thought I would give you a little outline so for those who want to take notes, they can jot those down. So how do program outcomes prepare you for your future career? We'll be first discussing choosing a career path, how I chose a career path, and that may help you decide on a new career path. What are the program outcomes for your school, and how are we going to match them up with our career skills? And finally, utilizing your career services. If you haven't been to your career services department yet, you need to get there. They can help you launch your career. So I wanted to let you know how I chose my career. Just three little steps that I took. First, I wanted a career where I could use my life experiences and skills that I gained through business ownership. And I wanted a career that fit my personality. So those two things were important to me, and as well as a way I could help other people. The second thing was I wanted to know about the salary, the growth rate, and the educational requirements for my career. Because I only wanted to go to school for 2 years. That's all I was willing to invest, 2 years. If I was 20, 25, I might think about 4, 6 years of school, but not at this stage in my life. So when I went to the website that's listed on the slide, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I was able to research the different careers that I thought I would like, find out the salary, the growth rate, and the educational requirements, and I found out that most 2-year degrees will not lead you to a career. It will lead you to more education. Even though when I was reading the description on the college websites, it made you think that you were going to get a career when you were done with their 2-year program. Not true. The Bureau of Labor Statistics showed what employers are looking for in their employee. So most of them were not 2-year degrees. It was a 4-year degree. So I was able to discover which careers were out and which careers were in. So the next thing I needed to do was what school was I going to go to? I decided early on that I was going to do online education because I needed to continue to work full-time as a nanny so I can help support my family. So I discovered Bryant and Stratton. They have a great online program, and then there were other perks. They have great career classes that help prepare you for your career. And their classes like technical research and computer skills and business communications, things that you would use in every career. So those are really helpful, help really round out my education. And the fact that Bryant and Stratton is accredited and was started in 1854, says that it's a very stable college. So I was really happy with my choice. I thought I would explain my slides to you so you guys could all follow along more easily. So across the top is going to be my program outcome. To the left is going to be my class and my project. And to the right is going to be my job skills. So for job skills, you can obtain those through job postings, through job fairs, and hiring managers. So there's a variety of ways you can discover what your job skills are. So let's get started. Outcome number 1. Demonstrate a professional level of understanding of medical coding, terminology, anatomy and physiology, pathophysiology, and pharmacology. I completed this outcome in my anatomy and physiology class. I did a fact sheet and a comparison essay. Now my fact sheet had 5 different diseases. I did research for the etiology, the treatment, the symptoms, and so on. The comparison essay was 2 diseases, the least debilitating and the most debilitating. I was able to use the medical terminology as my job skill for this project. I was able to take more complicated words and break them down into terminology for understanding. And as you can see on the slide, there's cardiology and polyneuropathy. Cardiology is broken down in the beginning with a combining form and at the end with a suffix. Then polyneuropathy, the beginning is a prefix, and then in the middle we have combining form, and the end we have a suffix. So let's just look at cardiology. If all we know is what cardio means, which is heart, we're not sure what ology means, at least we have an idea that this involves the heart. So even just a simple clue will help us know what body system we're looking at and so on. So medical terminology is definitely an essential item that I need for medical coding. Outcome number 2 is when I assigned CPT codes to medical documentation in medical services, procedures, and diagnostics. The class I completed this outcome in was Healthcare Common Procedural Coding System Level 1 and 2, a really long name, and my assignment was a coding assessment. The job skills I used to complete this assignment was the use of an ICD-10 and CPT coding manual. You can see the explanation of the acronyms up on the slide there. Best coding practices as well as compliance. The compliance came in when I used the guidelines for my manuals as well as guidelines for Medicare and Medicaid and third-party payers. Outcome number 3 is to assign current diagnosis codes according to the American Hospital Association's standards and sequencing rules for inpatient and outpatient medical services. I completed this outcome in my coding practicum physician coder class, And the assignment the, the project I did was diagnostic coding. The job skills was the use of ICD-10 manual, best coding practices, and compliance. Now, I completed this project by analyzing case studies and then using specific guidelines to choose accurate codes and sequencing. I just want to explain why it's important at this point to code accurately, and sequencing is part of accurate coding. Fortunately, not all codes need to be sequenced in a certain way, but some do, and it's important for three different reasons. Firstly, the codes tell the story of the patient encounter. And so this story, or these codes, are going to go to researchers. And researchers are there to determine if procedures and treatments and medications are working properly. Do we need to improve on them? It will help them discover new ways and more improved ways to treat patients. It also tells them where in the country or what age group the patients are coming up with these diseases. And it just helps researchers to improve in patient care. Secondly, it tells the story of the quality of patient care and how we can continue that or improve on that. And thirdly, reimbursement, because it tells the story to Medicare and Medicaid as well as third-party payers. So accurate coding and sequencing is essential. So outcome number 4 is to correctly assign CPT evaluation and management codes utilizing the CPT metrics and the 1995-1997 Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services Documentation Guidelines. I completed this outcome in my EM Services class, and the project was an essay. The job skills that line up with the essay are CPT EM Services and the CMS Documentation Guideline. Now, the essay consisted of an outline of EM services with a brief description of what they are. I also included the components necessary to choose accurate coding from the CMS Documentation Guidelines, and I included modifiers, a list of modifiers that are used with EM services and how to correctly use them with those EM codes. If you're looking for the CMS documentation guidelines, you can find them online. You can just search CMS, I think it's .org, and there you can either bookmark the page or print out the guidelines so you can have them handy anytime. Outcome number 6, I employed strategies for reflection on learning and practice in order to adjust learning processes for continual improvement. I did this in my healthcare terminology class with an oral and written project, and the job skill that matches that would be medical terminology. Now, the oral project consisted of pronouncing medical terms, healthcare terms, and understanding the meaning. The written project was a self-reflection of my study and learning habits and how I can improve on those. Now, this part of the project doesn't directly affect my job skills, but it still does help me in my career field because it helps me to refine the skills that I already have. And as a certified professional coder, you also need continuing education in order to keep your certification. So self-reflection will also help me in that area. I decided to put outcomes 5 and 7 together because they both focus on career skills. So in these outcomes, I utilized current technology and resources to locate and evaluate information needed to accomplish a goal. And then I shared those findings in a written format, visually, and an oral and/or. I followed established methods of inquiry and mathematical reasonings to form conclusions and make decisions. I did this in 3 different classes. 1, research and writing. 2, sociology and survey of mathematics. I did 2 PowerPoint presentations and 1 memo. The first PowerPoint presentation was in sociology, and we focused on defining sociological imagination. That's the topic that I chose. And then we've defined that in our personal lives as well as in our community life. The second PowerPoint presentation focused on mathematics. I analyzed my own personal student debt, the payment options and plans, and the consequences of defaulting on a loan. I analyzed all of that information to make a step-by-step plan on how I was going to pay off my student debt. The memo was persuasive in nature. I researched information on the importance of a compliance plan, created a memo, and sent that off to my per-10 supervisor for my project. So as you can see, these different career skills are not focused on coding, but are general in nature and would be beneficial in any career choice. The final topic today is utilizing your career services department. I did this early on in my educational career. I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd month that I contacted my career services person, Jennifer, and she just really helped me to discover what my life skills were, what the skills I had learned during homeschooling and business ownership and volunteer work, and really gave me the confidence that I needed to move forward. She also helped me with resume writing, writing a cover letter, networking. We did mock interview questions. We did a Skype together for a mock interview. She helped me with a multitude of things. She helped me refine my LinkedIn account and just answered any question that I would need to help launch my career. So I highly suggest you get a hold of your career services department. And at my school, it's a lifetime service, and I'm sure many other schools are the same way. So take advantage of it. That's what they're trained to do. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.